Bhumika. So Bhumika is a trainer and a psychologist. So Bhumika, welcome to our show. It's wonderful to have you in. So could you go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience?
Yeah. Hi. First of all, thank you for this platform. It's great to be here with Work Time. Right. And moving on, if I talk about myself, my journey a bit. So initially, I started working as a child psychologist. Understanding the needs of specially able students, right? What type of challenges they do have. Then I slowly, steadily realized that not just the special kids, even the students, who are going to regular colleges, regular schools, face a lot of issues. So I moved ahead with in my journey, going ahead with the training of these students, these trainers, and not just the students, also the teachers, the
Okay.
faculties. They play a crucial role over there, right? And then in my journey, I moved into the training part, into the corporates, and currently I'm working as a trainer.
That's a wonderful journey what you have had. So what is the difference like when you were dealing with the kids and when it comes to adults? How is that different from each of them?
Sure. So if I talk about the students, students I would say are more fragile. The kids, they have a different kind of issues because they do not have that stuck mindset. But as and when people move to adulthood, they get stuck to things. Their
Yes.
dreams are more fixed. They do not dream as we dream as a kid. A lot of us, even if I talk about you, your dreams as a child were much different as you are, current in your adulthood. You become more responsible, so the challenges of the two are very different. The employees, or I would say the corporate world people or the adults, are more stringent. They have their own set behaviors, which is a bit difficult for them to change.
Right, I get that. So, your observation for the corporate experiences, could you tell us about it?
Sure. So if I talk about the current corporate world, I would say that initially it was more like, the more experienced you are, then you grow up the ladder. But in today's world, if I talk about the corporate world, we see the young CEOs around,
Yes,
people who have well established careers at a very young age. They have reached heights. So I would say in today's corporate world, I feel talent is what is more valued
yes,
over, other things like experience. But besides this, the corporate world I feel is a bit more involving of politics and other things. So there comes a crucial role of an HR, I would say, or an organizational psychologist to shed away these things and bring up a healthy behavior around.
yes. Politics is everywhere. That's understood.
That's true.
So,
Yeah.
how do you think people have to deal with it?
Sorry, can you just come again?
How do you think that people have to deal when they are in such a situation?
Okay, so I would say first of all, take a step back. Whenever you're in the moment, do not react to it. First of all, analyze it, take a step back, and understand, was it actually an attack on you, or it was just a personal grudge somebody had, or their backlash. So take a step back and analyze the situation before you react to any politics around. Secondly, take a stand for yourself. Do not stop and be confident in what you have. The more the anywhere you enter, people are always there to just bring you down. So there are other people who will just push you up also. Understand which company you want to be in and choose around.
Yes,
These
absolutely.
two things, if you just do, I think you can handle the corporate politics a bit well.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's absolutely right. So we have two type of people. So it depends on whom we decide to be with.
absolutely.
All right. So Bhumika, I would like to know like a few important things around organization behavior.
Okay. So if I talk about the organization behavior, the key centric point are the employees. Right. When it is the employees, we need to talk about things like team building. Right. That's a crucial organizational behavior. It's a lot of unnecessary competition exists nowadays, right? So to demolish that, we need to have team building skills, so that people feel like we can always learn something from each other, no matter what the age it is, no matter what the gender it is. No biasness should be there. right? It's always a sole responsibility of a senior to just take care that these teams are aligned. Besides the all of this, I feel certain skills of organizational behavior, which we need to cater, are the problem solving skills. you know you need to train your team not just in the dynamic manner, but in a more creative manner. Take them out, let them understand in a real world also. I think a lot of corporates nowadays do that,
Yes.
engaging their employees into flow trainings. That helps in the creating the problem solving skills for the organizational behavior. And again, I'll just come to first thing I said, politics in corporates. That can also be catered as a part of organizational behavior. And that is a crucial point. If you inculcate a culture of learning, a culture where you are rewarded for what you behave, you are punished for how you behave. I think
Yes.
these things can be balanced out. A healthy, system can be inculcated in this manner.
Very, very well said. So I would also like to know, like in today's generation, yeah, what's important for students what in the current generation?
I would say communication skills.
Yeah,
You
okay.
know, as in when the era is changing, initially there was a time when people used to write letters to each other, right?
Yes.
Then there came in an era just getting that cards from Archie's or something, then just typing out the messages. So I think somewhere down the line today in WhatsApp you just send emoticons, you do not even
That's
have to write anything. And students nowadays, when they go out, they feel a lot of social anxiety, people
right.
faint up when they have to go around to different situations. So
That's
to
right.
come up with and deal with these things, they need to develop certain communication skills. Even there's a concept, in Japan, which they call as hikokumari, where you need, people just lock themselves in the room for months and they feel that it's me time. I am just learning
Yeah,
about myself and not communicating, and later they face different issues. So we have to be careful that Indian kids do not have that issues, anxiety issues. Yeah.
that's right. So many people are looking out for me time these days.
Yeah. I'd say they need to bring up a balance between all of it. How much you require your me time, your self analysis, and
Mhm.
at the same time learning the skills to communicate around.
So Bhumika, how do you think that we can build a better India? As per your this thing, as per
Uh,
your thoughts, maybe.
I would say we can build up a better India by being psychologically and mentally strong. A lot of suicide cases have increased in India. People are so much stressed around. They're just running. If you just look at around, now people are always running from one thing to another without realizing their ultimate goal. Yeah, getting up in the morning, rushing out. So to be a better India, first of all, be psychologically strong, understand yourself. Secondly, I would say enjoy the phases of life. There are certain highs, there are certain lows. Try to understand how you can bring up a balance between all. If I would just say, for example, I just draw a picture of mountains, trees, and a house, and it's just all black and white, there's no fun in it, right? So to understand actually what is life, enjoy it around to be better. Enjoy all phases of life, enjoy all colors of life. Don't just get stuck that I want this happiness, I want this high. Yeah, also I like to add at one point, happiness is overrated, especially nowadays in India. So to bring up a better India, do try to bring up a balance between all of it.
That's true. So, what do you think is missing in college faculties these days?
Okay. College faculties, I would say somewhere I feel uh, the faculties are either too empathetic towards the students, being too sensitive towards them, or either the opposite. So I think what is lacking is an actual understanding from the faculty's end to how much empathy there should be with the kids.
Okay.
Understanding the behavioral differences, the personality differences in today's youth. Youth has a lot of different issues, For sure, our college faculties are trying to improvise and connecting with them through different cultural events, social events. But somehow they need to understand that ever since, the era is changing, the issues are changing. So giving space to the kids. Secondly, understanding how important it is to just go off the track. There are certain things in colleges which are just, happening from the starting. So teachers and faculties are more focused on things. For example, attendance schedules and being on time. Besides all of this, of course, routine is important, discipline is important, but somewhere down the line, being more practical in their approach towards these students, not just their issues, but also the teaching part, making it more applied is what is needed.
So, Bhumika, like, do you think one-to-one session is more important, or in a group when you talk to the student, do they tell out their problems, and also which is very important? Like, should they really go and visit a psychologist, to share their problems, or discussing in a group? Which is more important, do you think?
I would say to start, we always need a group session because there is a lot of lack of awareness. People hesitate, that's true, on going on a one-on-one session, but that what's important is to first of all give them the awareness through live sessions, through group sessions, acquainting them that yes, what you are facing is not just you, it's a very common issue which can be dealt with. So,
Okay.
as per my experience, I would say yes, first of all, acquaint them with the adequate knowledge through group sessions, and then people do turn up, students do turn up for one on one sessions once they realize, yes, that is what can be dealt with in a healthy manner.
Okay. So, can you give us few steps where about a good performance?
For a good performance of students.
Yeah, small steps where they can take for a good performance of a student.
Sure. So if I say, I want people to be psychologically and mentally strong, for better performances, first thing they can do is, be present in the moment. Be it a good moment, be it your bad feedback, be it you're not prepared for your exam, be in the moment and shed that away. That's the first thing. Do not carry it forward. Do not create your backlashes. Do not take a baggage with you. Be it an emotional baggage or be it any other, physical or anything which can bring you down. Secondly, I would say to, better performance for anybody around is, just to be like a child. When you behave like a child, you actually understand the nuances of the situation. You enjoy the situations. Be like a child, People don't laugh at a fart anymore, but a child does. So it's always better to behave like a child, to enjoy like a child. Besides that, if I would say I would like to talk about something, you know, how you can improvise is yeah, is enjoy around. Do not feel that you do not need to trust people. That can be yet another thing. Do not distress. Be confident in who you are. That will bring up your performance 10 times, whatever the case is. If you're confident, it reflects in your body language, it reflects in your tone, and anybody who is listening to you, that makes you a much better person, that gives you more rating.
So, Bhumika, what is your life mantra?
Okay. My life mantra, I would say, is be your own spokesperson. Be it at your corporate place, be it at your personal space, be it at your friend's place, anywhere around, be your own spokesperson. When you say things for yourself, you not only create your own personality, you do not create your own space, but also you are very clear and happy about things because you did it for yourself.
So, it's a startup world now, as we know about it. So,
Uh,
what's important for employees in corporate world right now?
Okay, so I would say corporate, startup word is a lot more alluring to people nowadays. This and that. They just see the upside. They do not see what is happening on the lower.
Yes.
So to corporate employees are a lot allured by it. They do just want to go it. They're just much stuck that I can do much better than this if I go and invest and start something for myself. So corporate employees somewhere need to have patience, patience with what they have. Secondly, they need to observe. As a people lack observations around that. If I observe things and daily learning something, corporate world has a lot of learnings around, but people miss it out because they're just too stuck within themselves. Go around, talk around to people, learn from their experiences, and slowly and steadily, with patience, you will also grow out in life.
So, Bhumika, being a psychologist, how did it help in observing and helping corporate issues?
So I think being somewhere, a psychologist in the corporate world, I could connect better to people around. You know, at the personal level, people become more comfortable sharing our things with you, be it personally, professionally. You create an aura for yourself. Secondly, you are able to differentiate that yes, a person has a genuine issue, or they're just faking it around. That's somewhere their body language says it, their tone says it around. So it becomes better for you to always understand. Secondly, being a psychologist in a corporate world helps you in a way how you just present yourself. You can be much better. Right now I deal with a lot of parents and students with a lot, for their studies, higher studies. So dealing with that, I can understand what to tap, where to tap, understanding the needs, and accordingly pitching or accordingly talking to them, making them feel better and at the same time satisfied. That is what it helps around being a psychologist.
Well, it was very nice, the way you explain things, and it's really nice to have you on our show. So, Bhumika, do you have anything or any suggestions for our audience before we wind this up?
Sure. I would say then that just be around. Again, repeating that happiness is overrated. Don't just run after the happiness. Enjoy the highs and lows of your life, and try to communicate what you have. The more you feel, initially it might feel like it's a lot to say, but to just go around and say other thing that you wish you had talked to somebody, and it will make you feel much lighter and better.
Well, thank you. Wonderful to have you on our show. And thank you, friends, for watching work. So, it was a beautiful conversation with you. And thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Bye bye.